Let's find a comfortable seat and let's have the hands onto the knees. Let's go ahead and roll the shoulders on back, lengthen up the spine. Can close down the eyes. And just take the first few moments that we have to just land and arrive onto the mat and into the body. And start to pay attention to how you breathe in and how you breathe out through the nose. And with each and every breath that you take, arriving more into the here and now, this moment now. And let's allow for the breath to be a little bit slower and a little bit longer. Let's inhale for the count of 4. So breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then breathing out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. And go ahead and repeat a few times with your own breath, your own rhythm. And perhaps even notice the reflection of that on your mind. So the breath affects the mind, and also our mind affects the breath. And so here in our practice, having this focus of letting the breath be slow, calm, so then that is reflected in the mind. From here, let's go ahead and take one more deep, full inhale in through the nose to fill up the body with breath. And then an exhale out to clear. Start to crack open the eyes. Let your gaze adjust on back into our space. And let's meet on our hands and knees. So spreading the fingers very wide, shoulders over the wrists and the knees underneath the hips. A few rounds of cat and cow. So just allow for the sit bones to start to curl up, lengthening the spine, chest pulls forward and looking on up if it's okay for the neck. And then as you're here, we're going to be here for more than a breath. See if you can pull your hands towards your knees and the knees towards the hands, activating into the upper back. And we'll curl and round in. So let the tailbone be heavy, like it's moving to the back of your knees. Pubic bone curls towards the face and the face towards the pubic bone. Really try and articulate through every single vertebra of the spine here. And then let's move with breath. So inhale and lift the bones up, chest folds forward. And then exhale, breath to curl and round in. Last one, in your own time, in your own rhythm, noticing the movement through the body. Let's meet back into a more or less a neutral spine. Right hand presses down, left arm towards the ceiling, lifting it up. And let's go ahead and spread the arm under. Drop down the shoulder and the side of the face. Right hand can more or less stay where it is. Move your right elbow away from the floor. And then you can look towards the ceiling if it's okay for the neck. And then you can press that right hand down so you can just assist yourself in a little bit more of a twist. And that really nice opening through the left side all the way into the shoulder blade, the muscles there. And let's go ahead and press the right hand down. Left arm lifts all the way back up. And left hand down. Other side. Right arm lifts up, breathing in. As you breathe out, thread the arm under, drop down the shoulder and the side of the face. Left hand presses to the floor, left hand moves away from the floor, and then you can look towards the ceiling. And again, letting that breath be calm and steady, smooth, even breath. We'll go ahead and press that left hand down. The right arm lifts all the way back up. And the right hand comes down to the ground. From here, walking the two hands forward for puppy pose. And then as you're here, see if you can pull the hands back. So rather than just kind of letting the chest collapse down, using a little bit of resistance to melt the heart, the chest. Noticing the sit bones they widen, the inner thighs, they widen, they move away from each other. And gradually, bit by bit, allowing for the chest, the heart to melt towards the ground. And it's totally okay if the chest doesn't touch. First sort of things that we're doing this practice. So meeting your body as it needs to be this morning on the mat. From here, let's go ahead and push the hands down. We'll slide ourselves so we come down onto the belly. We'll take 3 rounds of Bhujangasana Cobra. So slide the hands back so they're by the rib cage and really press the feet down into the floor. First one that we do, hovering the hands from the ground, roll the shoulders back and down so the shoulder blades melt down the back. Feel the pubic bone press down into the ground, and we're lifting the chest. Keep the feet pressing down. Notice if they've lifted up, that's kind of the tendency that happens here. See if you can root them down into the ground. Feel the toenails. And then coming down. Again, floating the hands up. Inhale to lift up. And as we hold, breathe as normal. See if you can lightly press the hands down and use a little bit of help from the hands to lift the chest a little bit higher. But again, feeling the back muscles. And coming down. The last one, keep the hands pressing down. This time can lift a little higher, shoulder blades down the back. Keep the pubic bone pressing down, feet pressing down. And let's glide back into child's pose, hips back to the heels. And as always, this child's pose is always available to you through this entire practice. If you ever need to take a moment. And let's make our way into our down dog. So spread the fingers wide, really grip the mat strongly with the hands, tuck the toes, gliding the hips back. And welcome to make any sort of movements that you like here, like pedaling out your feet. Relax your head completely. Even see if the mouth, the jaw is relaxed, no clenching of the teeth. From here, lift up high onto the balls of your feet, heels are lifted, and then we'll glide on forwards into a high plank. You may need to adjust your feet a little further back. Press the ground away, almost as if you're really doming through the upper back. Really press it, pubic bone towards the belly button. Either stay here Or see if you can pick the right foot up from the floor. It doesn't have to lift very high. Point the toes back. Press the ground away. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Right foot comes down. Left foot lifts up. Point the toes back. Breathe. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Left foot comes down and come back, down dog. Lift up high onto the balls of the feet. And let's go slowly to the top of the mat. Can tiptoe all the way on up. Once you're at the top, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, hands either onto the mat or onto your body, wherever you can touch. See if you can lengthen the spine. Notice if the weight is a little bit back in the heels. See if you can shift the weight forward so you really feel it through the back of the legs. And we forward fold down into Uttanasana. So you may like to bend the legs here. Take your hands behind your calves. Feel the connection of your belly to the thighs and relax the head. Move the head towards, the forehead towards your shins. And keep lifting the sit bones on up. But again, take your time. No need to force the body. Allowing for the body to naturally unfold breath by breath, practice by practice. And on your next inhale, we'll lift the arms all the way up to the ceiling. Gaze at the thumbs, draw the hands to the center of the chest, and then bring them by the sides of Samastihi. Take an inhale, the arms lift all the way up, look at them. Exhale, breath diving on down. Again, you may like your hands behind your calves. Soften the head down, forehead towards the shins. Inhale to lengthen, halfway. Shift the weight into the left foot, so the right foot floats back, and a giant step back. We're coming into low lunge. Right knee softens to the ground, can keep the back toes tucked. Your inhale breath to lift the arms all the way up. Hands to the ground, step back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Come forwards into your high plank. Press the ground away. Take an inhale. Exhale to lower all the way down. Shalabhasana, locust. Arms come by the sides of the body. Tone through the belly, and we're lifting everything up. Notice if you're lifting more through your eyes, lift through the back of the head so your neck stays really nice and long. Pointing the toes back. See if you can lift the chest up just a little bit higher. And coming on down. Pressing the hands down, coming back to our down dog. And the right leg lifts back and up. How lightly can you step the right foot forwards to the inside of your right thumb? Left knee softens down to the ground. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, hands down, left foot to meet the right. Take an inhale to lengthen. Exhale, breath to fold on in. Inhale, breath, arms up, look at thumbs. And bring the hands to the center of the chest and then by the sides. Again, other sides, breathing in. As you breathe out, coming into your forward fold. Inhale to lengthen, halfway. Shift the weight to the right foot so the left foot can float back. And a giant step back with the foot. Keep the toes tucked, lower lunge. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, hands come down, back to down dog. Float forwards into your high plank. Know that you can always modify with the knees down as we lower all the way down. Shalabhasana again. Inhale to lift on up. Again, lifting through the back of the head, point the toes back. Stay for another inhale. And then your exhale breath to take you back down. Coming back, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts back and up. Again, how lightly can you step the foot forwards so that you step it to the top of your mat without a sound? Inhale, the arms lift up. Your exhale breath to take the arms down, right foot to meet the left. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold on in. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Hands to center and by the sides. Again, inhale, the arms lift up. A slight change in the patterning. Exhale to fold down. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Shift the weight to the left foot, right foot steps back. This time, high lunge. So rather than the knee down, knee stays lifted, arms lift up. Hands to the ground and back to down dog. Come forwards into your high plank. Lower all the way down, chaturanga. This time, Shalabhasana with the arms bound. Move the shoulder heads back. Slight bend in the elbows. Inhale to lift up. You can start to pull the hands back. Feel the lift of the chest. Really activate the legs. Even lift up the kneecaps so then the quads are active as well. One more breath here. And then coming down. Come back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts back and up. Lightly stepping right foot forwards. High lunge, inhale on the way up. As you exhale, hands come down, left foot to meet the right. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold in. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. And hands to center and by the sides. Inhale, the arms lift up. Exhale, diving on down. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Shift the weight to the right foot so then the left foot goes back. High lunge, inhale. Exhale, hands come down, back to down dog. Come forwards into high plank, lower all the way down. Again, Shalabhasana with the arms bound. Slight bend in the elbows, interlock the fingers. This time, let's interlock them the awkward way, the opposite way to what we naturally do. And inhale, we lift up. Stay for one more breath here. And slowly coming down. Coming back, down dog. Left leg lifts back and up. Moving the left foot forwards, high lunge. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down, right foot to meet the left. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to fold in. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. And the hands to center and by the sides. Take a momentary pause here. You may have to have one hand onto your belly and one hand onto the heart. And feel your breath flowing, your heart beating. And this beautiful feeling of being alive, the breath flowing, blood flowing, things circulating around, new energy coming inside of you with each and every breath, revitalizing. And that we can really connect into this moment now and how we are in this moment. When you're ready, go ahead and open the eyes. Shift the weight to the right foot. We're going to come into a figure four shape. So with your left foot, have the left foot over the leg so that the foot is just hanging off the side. Arms come forward and then we're sitting the hips back. And you really want to sit the butt back so then you feel the stretch in your left glutes. Flex the left foot, move the left knee away from you. Then let's go ahead and push into the right foot. So we come to stand up, hands to the center of the chest. We're going to glide the left foot back into Virabhadrasana 3. Left toes point down, really kick the heel back and really plant down your right foot, particularly the right big toe mound, down into the ground. See if you can lengthen through the crown of your head. And welcome to explore the depth. So not like you're bringing your torso low, low, low down, but how can you lengthen? How can you elongate? And if you do want a little bit more challenge, your arms can come forwards, but I'm going to keep mine to the center of the chest. We're coming into high lunge, so a giant step all the way back. Inhale the arms, they lift on up. Hands float down to the ground, and we're shifting the hips back. If you need blocks and you have them nearby, go ahead and grab them. We're straightening that right leg of yours. Right hip back and the left hip forward. See if you can elongate. And the exhale breath, soften belly towards the thighs and lengthening the torso along the leg, looking towards your right big toe. You may need a block underneath your left hand to the floor or a block, and the right hand to the hip. Important here is to move that right hip back so we can feel the stretch along the right side. Right shoulder on top of the left and the right arm lifts up. So a twist, as well as an opening through the IT band. Great, and then let's go ahead and take that right hand on down and then come back downward facing dog. From here, coming into high plank. So just like we did at the start, press the ground away, hold for a moment, and we float the right foot back. Welcome to stay here or right foot on the ground, or for a little bit more, shift the weight a tiny bit to the right hand so that the left hand can come forwards. For 3, 2, and 1. Left hand comes down, right foot down. Take an inhale and exhale all the way down to the ground. Take a moment to breathe. Hands by the rib cage, roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale to cobra. And then upward facing dog, thighs off the ground, feet pressing down, lift the kneecaps up. And let's go back, downward facing dog. The left leg lifts back and up. Lightly, left foot steps forwards. Right foot comes down, warrior 2, heel to heel alignment. Inhale on the way up. Virabhadrasana 2, adjust the legs as needed. Shoulders back and down, stretch out through the hands. Can you bend your left leg a little bit more so you really feel it through the quads? Reverse it. We'll have the right hand down, left arm up and over. Keep bending that left leg so we keep the depth. And then let's start to straighten the left leg. Come back into warrior 2 arms. If the distance is a little wide, heel to the back foot in. Shifting the hips back, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. So we're lengthening so that we get the length. So we're not kind of dumping the body down. So that we get that length through the torso. Keep pressing into the outer edge of your right foot and then the left butt a little bit under so that right hip just opens up rather than kind of closing down. And then can you lengthen your right arm up towards the ceiling? And calm and steady breath. Feel the strength of both feet pressing down into the ground. And then your right arm over the ear, soft bend in your left knee, spin up the back foot, push the left foot down, and then the right foot to meet the left. Take an inhale, exhale to fold in. Inhale, breath, lifting the arms all the way up. And hands to center by the side, Samasihi. Shifting the weight a little to the left foot. So then your right ankle goes onto the left thigh. Arms come forwards. And then sitting the hips on back. Flexing your right foot, move the right knee towards the ground. feel that stretch. And then let's push into the left foot, hands to the center of your chest, and we're taking that right leg back. Welcome to bring your arms forwards if you did it on the other side. You can experiment with the depth of your torso and see if you can really ground down the left big toe mount. Okay, let's come into high lunge. Right foot back, find your balance, arms lift up. Hands to the ground. And then we're shifting the hips back. Grab the blocks again if you need to. Left hip back, right hip forwards, and then soften the belly towards the thighs. Calm and steady breaths. We'll take that right hand down to floor or block, left hand onto the hip, and then left hip back, right hip a little forward, and then turning the torso. And then your arm can then lift up. Nice. The left hand comes down, coming back, down dog. From here, again, coming forwards into high plank. We pause for a moment. Left foot lifts up this time. Welcome to stay here, or left foot down. Shift the weight to the left hand, and can the right hand come forwards for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Take an inhale. Exhale all the way down to the ground. Pause for a moment. This time, Dhanurasana into bow. So if anything in the legs, the back, feel free to take our Shalabhasana, which we've been doing. Or if everything is okay, bending the legs and finding the feet. And can you find your feet at the same time? And then we're flexing the feet. Move the shoulder heads back. Feel the lift of the chest. And then can you kick the feet into the hands? Notice if the knees have gone wide, think inner thighs a little closer together. And really kick the feet into the hands. Really use the legs, lift the legs up. And again, calm and steady breaths as we're here, as best we can. Stay for one more breath. And slowly come down. Stack the arms on top of each other. And let's go ahead and bend the legs and move the legs from side to side like a windscreen wiper. And let's come back to child's pose, hips back to the heels. And then downward facing dog. Right leg this time, lifts back and up. Lightly step the right foot forwards, left foot comes down. Inhale on the way up. Relax the shoulders back and down. Really bend into that right leg of yours. Reverse it. Left hand down, right arm up and over. See if you can lengthen out of your right hip. Can you press your right knee a little more forwards? And then start to straighten the right leg. We're transitioning into Trikonasana. Adjust the feet as you need to. Never feel like you're locked into a pose. You can always adjust the pose to your body so that we meet our body exactly as we need to be today. And then how much can you ground your legs down so that we root to rise? How can we let the body be more spacious, more light, more vibrant? Letting yourself be exactly where you are and filling it with your beautiful breath. Left arm over the ear, left hand down to the ground, bending your right leg. And then pushing into your right foot, we're lifting that left leg up. Left foot to meet the right. Inhale. Exhale, breath to fold in. Inhale, lifting the arms all the way up. And the hands to center and by the sides. Inhale, the arms lift up. Exhale, we're diving down into the legs. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Fully place the hands down and we just step back, downward facing dog. All right. So we're going to work a little bit more into the arms, into the shoulders. So with your two hands, bring the two hands a little bit closer to each other. As we're doing this, you can have a little soft bend in your knees, so it makes it a little bit easier. Or you can try with the legs not bent. And as we lower down, try both arms at the same time. If you need to, then one arm at a time. But really intend and try both at the same time. So your elbow crease spins to the ceiling. So we rotate the arms. And then very slowly, how slowly can you lower both forearms down at the same time? Relax the head. If the elbows went a little bit wide, you can move them in a little closer. Relax your head. Welcome to have a little bend in your knees here. So we're in our dolphin shape. Press the hands down. And then at the same time, without any sort of jerking action, like you're moving slowly, like you're peeling the arms all the way back up. And then slowly back down, go slowly. And at the bottom, see if it's rather than like a ka-tunk down, it's like a very smooth action. Press the hands down, both elbows, both forearms up at the same time. And then how can you control the descent all the way down? So it's a smooth landing and it's a smooth way back up. One more time. Forearms go down. And then back up. Take the arms wider. Right leg lifts back and up. Very lightly, right foot steps forwards. Left foot comes down. Inhale on the way up. Shoulders down the back. Left hand down, right arm up and over. We're going to bring the right hand down to the outside of the right foot, grab block if needed, and then the left arm over the ear. Can you press your right leg into your right arm and then the right butt towards the midline? We're coming into half moon. Left hand onto the hip for a little bit of balance. Can scooch in that back foot so you have a little bit more leverage when you press. Right hand to the floor or the block and push into the right foot. So rather than use the momentum, use the strength of your right leg to then lift the left leg up. The left hip opens on top of the right, flex the left foot. And when you feel you have the balance, left arm lifts up. If you want to, there's Ardha Chandrasana Chapasana. And rather than finding the foot from down low, see if you can bring your heel to your butt first and then squeeze it in. And then we find the foot. And then if you have the foot, see if you can kick the foot away, kind of like we did when we were in our Dhanurasana. Same sort of shape that's happening with the leg. And then slowly, with control, returning back into half moon if you're not already there. And then we're coming back into warrior two and letting the movement be very smooth. Two hands come down to the ground and bring the left knee down to the floor. Right foot a little bit more to the right side, toes can turn out. Hands can come down onto the mat. Take a moment to breathe. All right. So left hand can stay down. You can bring the left hand a little bit more forward so it's out of your shoulder line. It's a little bit more comfortable for the wrist, and the right arm lifts up and over. So you're always welcome to stay here. Try not to kind of roll the left knee around. Try not to kind of twist the leg. And we're just going to bend the leg and find the left foot. And then here you're more on the top of your left thigh rather than your knee joint. So rather than the knee pushing into the ground, more like the top of the thigh. Okay, and then if you want a little bit more, you can bend your elbow, bring the foot in towards the butt. And you can even move the hips back, bring the heel to the butt, and then shift yourself forwards, and you'll really feel it. Calm and steady breath, and always just go to the depth that feels okay. Try not to force. If you feel like you're kind of pushing too much, then, well, you're forcing. Okay, and then gently let go of the foot. And then we'll just come back, downward facing dog. And just take a moment here to feel both sides of the body. Left leg lifts back and up. And lightly stepping left foot forwards. Warrior two. Inhale on the way up. Adjust the feet as you need to. And then right hand down, left arm up and over. Side angle, Parsvakonasana. Left hand down to the outside of the left foot. And then the right arm over. And just doing it like this, so then we can press the left knee against the arm. Just feeling the strength of the inner thighs as we're here. Right hand onto the hip. You can heel toe that back foot in. Ardha Chandrasana, use support as you need to. And how much can you press into that left foot so that the right foot can glide up? Right hip opens on top of the left. Right arm up to the ceiling when you've got the balance. And maybe Chapasana. So practice heel towards the butt and then finding the foot. And then kicking the foot into the hand. Let the breath be calm. Let the breath be steady. Let's return back to our warrior two. First, Ardha Chandrasana. And then gliding ourselves back without any sort of rush or hurry. Two hands down to the ground. And we'll bring that right knee down. Left foot a little bit more to the left side. Toes can turn out. And then we'll have that right hand down, maybe a little bit more forwards. And then the left arm up. Welcome to stay here or go for opening through the quads. Maybe you want to take the hips back, left heel, right heel towards your butt, and then gliding the hips forwards from here. Go easy on yourself. Calm and steady breaths. Okay, and gently, gently letting that go. We're returning back to our downward facing dog. However you want to get to the top of the mat, whether you step or jump, come on up. Take an inhale, we lengthen. Exhale to fold on in. Inhale, arms up. And the hands to center and by the sides. Go ahead and step horizontally along your mat. Take the feet wide for Pasarita Padottanasana. So heels to the edges of the mat. Toes can turn in rather than out, so they're parallel. And hands onto the hips. Take an inhale. Exhale, shift the hips back, lengthen forwards. Pause at the halfway point. Feel the sit bones, they lift up. Press into the outer edges of your feet. And then allow for the torso to descend a little bit more. And then the hands can come down. If the hands touch, fingertips in line with your toes. And if the hands don't quite touch, feel free to use your props. Grab any support that you need to. And then can walk the hands back if you like. So the fingertips in line with the heels. And then can press the hands forward. Elbows can move in. No rush or hurry. We're going to do this a second time with the option for tripod headstand. So no rush or hurry. And pushing into your feet, hands to the hips. Press into your feet. So use your strong legs to bring yourself upright. Interlock the fingers back behind you. Shoulder heads move back. Have a little soft bend in the elbows. Take an inhale. And again, exhale. We're shifting the hips back. Lengthen the body forward. Soften down the head and the arms can reach away. So welcome to stay here. Welcome to bring your hands to the hips or back down to the floor. Or, as I mentioned, the option for tripod headstand. I'll talk you through it. Those who can already do, feel free to take yourself there in your own time. So from our Pasarita Padottanasana, the head needs to come down towards the ground. And if the head can start to touch, then we're kind of ready for it, or at least the hands touching the ground. So then imagine your hands are like the base of a triangle. And at the peak of the triangle, that's where you want to place your head. And sort of like the crown of the head rather than your forehead or the back of your head. So the head comes down. And you want your elbows hugging in. If the elbows kind of go out wide, then you lose the strength of your shoulders. As the head comes down to the floor, press into the hands. See if you can lift the heels up. So you come onto your toes and push down with the hands. Lift the sit bones up so the pelvis tilts upwards. And then the feet can start to float from the floor. Maybe you go halfway. Maybe you start to experiment with the legs towards the ceiling. Go to a place where you can feel steady and stable. And when you're ready, placing the feet down to the floor, and then we take a halfway lift. Turning yourself around. Let's step back into down dog. And let's use down dog as a bit of a counter pose. And just allow for the head to relax. You can shake out the head. And you can even move the chin in, like you're giving yourself a double chin. And let's bring the knees down to the floor. And we're going to come to lie down onto the back. And take a moment here. We haven't yet been on our back. Just take a moment to reorientate yourself. We'll take 3 rounds of back bends. Your feet on the ground. Lightly touch the heels, but it's only an indication of where your feet are in relation to your body. You can always move them. And the feet, the toes facing forwards. Push the feet into the floor, lifting the hips up.
So as you lift the hips up, if you feel like your knees are a little bit cramped, maybe move your feet away from you and then you can lift your hips up a little bit more. And see if you can roll onto the shoulders and hold the hands underneath. Can you move the tailbone towards the back of the knees? Really press your feet into the floor. You could push your feet forwards and feel that drive your hips up a little bit more and maybe roll onto the shoulders a little bit more. Notice the back of your heart. So rather than the chest, back of the heart towards your chin. And then we can activate the legs. Pull your heels towards you this time. So then you feel your hamstring and your glutes switch on. And the inner seams of your feet are magnetized towards one another. So you feel the inner thighs. And then we breathe. Keep the activation in the body. And then from your upper back to your lower back, rolling all the way down. So we have 2 more times. Welcome to stay in your Urdhva Dhanurasana. We'll come into your wheel, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Welcome to stay in your Setu Bandhasana, your bridge, like we just did. So choose the option that is best for you today. And allowing for yourself to come up in your own time. Letting your breath guide you. If you feel anything is too strong, you can always bring yourself down, particularly if you feel any pressure in your lower back. Maybe wheel is not for you today, and that's okay. And feel free to go for one more time in your own time. Whether you want to again come into your Urdhva Dhanurasana or you stay in your bridge. And once you feel satisfied, soles of feet come together. Supta Baddha Konasana. Can have one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart. And just feel. Feeling the afterglow of all the efforts. Let's go ahead and hug the knees in. Give the back a little bit of a massage. Can rock from side to side. And let's take a happy baby. I've been liking to hold on to my ankles actually, and really getting my arms to the inside of my legs rather than like wrapping to the outside. And then bringing the legs on down. And the knees can go a little bit wider on either sides of the torso. Can feel my whole back on the ground, even the lower segments of the spine. And see if you can just relax the back of the heart, that space in between your shoulder blades to the mat as well. Let's bring the legs into tabletop, arms out into a T shape. And let's take the legs to the side of your choice for a twist. A little higher could be a little better for the legs. You can always experiment where you land the legs. Sometimes we just kind of collapse the legs down or katunk the legs down somewhere. So be conscious where you land your body and notice the effect that it has through the rest of the body. So be curious. Bring the legs on back to the center and then the side. And let's bring ourselves back to the center. If there's anything you wish to do that would complete the practice for you, feel free to go ahead and do that, whatever it is, whatever you need. Otherwise, I will guide us into Shavasana. Let's go ahead and hug the legs on in. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And you may even like to reach for your feet so you can hug in even tighter. And squeeze, use a lot of muscle, create a lot of tension here. Take a final inhale. And exhale to release to Shavasana. Legs are on either side, palms up. Let the fingers slightly curl in. If you need to adjust the tailbone away from you so your back is comfortable, do that. You can wriggle down your shoulder blades so the shoulders are relaxed. And just allow for yourself to completely sink down, letting any last little bits of anything just slip away from you. So you can feel the whole back body melt towards the ground. The whole back body supported by the mat, the earth. Shavasana. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. We'll be here for a few minutes. Take your time, relax.
can start to bring more of your awareness back. You can make some movements to your fingers and your toes. You may like to move your feet up and down. You may like to circle them, circle the wrists. Take a final stretch. Arms over the head and the legs out. If you would like to here, can take a deep inhale in through the nose. Let go through the mouth. One more time if you wish. Deep inhalation. Clear, let go. And take a moment just to notice and feel the effects of the sigh. That the effects of the sigh linger longer than the actual sound of the sigh. Just like this practice will echo, the effects will echo through you for the rest of the day that you'll have. Go ahead and roll to the side that feels more open, left or right. And compress yourself back up to seated. You can have hands onto knees. Relax the shoulders down the back, lengthen the spine. See if you can keep the face relaxed. And just notice and feel your body, your breath, as well as your mind. After all that movement, there's this point in the practice where hopefully things are a little bit more still. The fluctuations of our mind start to smooth, even themselves. Maybe there's a little bit more of a gap between the thoughts. And the gap, we find that perhaps we have a little bit more freedom or a little bit more at ease, at peace. Let's go ahead and bring the hands to the center of the chest. Please give yourself thanks for being here, giving yourself the space and the time. Sometimes the hardest thing is to step on the mat to practice, and here we are at completion. And let's bow down the head, the brain to our heart. And thank you so much for your practice.